this is Mariah, also known as Mariah Amazing, and I have a special guest with me today, Alythia. And she is a friend of mine and a trainer. She's going to talk to us all about health and fitness. So let's get started, everybody. So how did you get into your fitness journey?
So I've been thinking a lot about that. I want to say it was when I had my son. He's going to be 5 this year.
Cam.
Yes, his name is Cameron. He's everything. He really was that last motivation, but I think collectively over the years, I always wanted to. You know, you start, you fail, and it started even like as a kid, like watching my mom's workout tapes. I was always really interested. Like, she had Donna Summers on VHS. She had like a kickboxing routine. Like, I don't know. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew I like wanted to like look better, right? I saw my mom doing it. And then throughout like school, I never really like took it serious. But with my son, I was like, I have to. Like, there's no more starting over. This is the last time I quit, right?
Yeah.
And after that, I just kept really pushing. Yeah. And the motivation from people watching me, you'll be so surprised when you start something. You're like, these people you never knew are coming out, like, coming out the woodworks. Like, I don't know what the woodworks means, but they were coming. They were coming out. Like, I follow you. I'm like, people that I had no idea about. They're like, wow, you're so inspiring. So that pushed me even more. Like, I have to keep going. And then it's like layers. Like, you know, like first you stop doing this and that, and then you just keep diving into it. You know, when you're passionate about something, you just keep peeling these layers back. Like, I got to keep going, and that's really where it started. Just becoming a mom, really.
Just being.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you have to. When someone's looking up to you and you're telling them to do X, Y, and Z, and you're not doing it, how can someone have faith that you're guiding them to do something right when they're not doing it?
Right.
Like, my mom used to always say, don't do what I do what I tell you to do. And I'm like, what? That doesn't make sense. Like, why aren't you doing, like, eat your vegetables? I'm like, why are you grubbing down on Hot Pockets and stuff? Why do I have to eat these? And it was never stressed how important it was. So when I was a mom, I was like, wow, I'm eating. He's eating this. He's watching me, you know? So that's the real motivation when people are watching.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of watching you and eating habits, what is your diet? Like, that's a really big one.
Right now,
yeah,
I'm kind of in between being like a vegan and a pescatarian. That's because of personal choice and things that I had issues with my body. I had become lactose intolerant a couple years ago, which was beyond me. After I had my son, your body changes. Like, it changes, but it changes internally too. And with that, you stop eating meat, then you peel back. Like, I'm not going to eat, like, all the meat, right?
Right.
But then I was like, oh, I like sushi. So I kind of, like, go back and forth with it. But I don't eat any processed foods. I try to keep it really whole. When I mean whole foods, not, like, the whole foods.
Not the whole paycheck.
Like, yeah, exactly, not that. But, you know, like, things that I can make from scratch, like dried goods, like not even canned food, nothing that's really frozen. If it is frozen, like, it'll be like a bag of vegetables. There's always like a mix. Like, what's the difference between fresh vegetables and frozen vegetables? Well, I mean, there is a slight taste difference, but actually nutrition, there's not that much difference. And that's, a lot of people think that, and like, we'll have like a giant bag and we'll just go through it and it doesn't go to waste. So that's like one of those things, like, people are like, oh, I'm going to eat all this, like, I'm going to get this big bag of spinach, and then they don't eat it, and then they throw it away, and they're like, oh, this is a waste of my time. So that's a good alternative, is like frozen veggies, but I try not to do that. Lots of fish, salmon, mahi-mahi, shrimp, crab, every seafood. Like, I'm eating all of it, and then just as long as it's not, like, no dairy. Like, I can have ghee. Ghee is like an Ethiopian butter, which really sets well with my stomach. And it's crazy because in North America, like, everyone's eating cheese, but, like, around the world, people cannot handle cheese in their bodies. Like, exactly.
So many layers to that.
There is lots of layers. And so here I thought I was so different, but I'm like, actually, the fact that you can process this other animal's milk, whatever you want to call it, is amazing, because we're not supposed to be doing that. We're not supposed to be eating another animal's milk. Like, I've never seen a cat run up to a dog I've never seen a goat run up to a cow, you know, but a human gets it from a cow. Like, that just...
mind blowing.
It's gross when you think about it.
Well, I'm always trying to be nice, but but yeah, that is literally a big thing. I feel like lactose intolerance is pretty much just saying your body physically cannot handle processing another animal.
No, it's not. And it's crazy because my whole life people are like, oh, I've eaten this my whole life, it doesn't bother me. I was eating that my whole life too. I would go to the 7-Eleven, get a bag of hot Cheetos.
Me too. And
put the nacho cheese. And I was okay. But like I was risking it all, and I had no idea that I was doing that. And over time, my body, with having a kid, it changes a lot. So it was like, yo, this, you got really lucky this last 20-something years, but everything started like spiraling out. Like, I had gut issues, and like a lot of people don't know this, but like most of our serotonin, you know what serotonin is, right? And it's like affects our mood and stuff, is in our gut. So you feel what you eat. Like when you're sluggish and you're depressed and you're sad after a meal, that's science. That's a real thing. When you eat a vegetable or like something, not even vegetables, but just like clean food, you know, you feel so energized, happy. You feel like you want to do more, you know? And people are always like, well, I don't feel full, I'm like, you need to redefine what full means to you. Full does not mean stuffed. I'm going to go sleep on the couch for an hour. I used to think that was what full meant. No, when I feel like that, I'm like, I cannot eat that. That did not sit well. I need to cut back, you know? That happens to me now sometimes. Like, when you set these levels, there's levels to it. So, like, things I was able to eat, like, if I ate a bag of hot Cheetos with the cheese now, I'd probably be sick all day.
Because your diet, your body has, like, kind of changed. So it's like, I can't handle that. Like, what are you doing?
Exactly. So
I haven't done that in quite some time, but I need to get to that level of where, like, oh, wow, this is, like, bad. Don't eat that. Versus, like, oh, I have a taste for it kind of thing. So I wonder, do you ever still have a taste for it?
I try to, but like I said, it like makes me sick, and then I associate the feeling with the food. So you're like, just like when something makes you, like when you're with your family, like you're like, oh, this reminds me of like, no, this reminds me of a stomach ache now, you know? So like, even though I like want like Parmesan cheese, I used to love Parmesan cheese, and it made me so sick. I'm like, it's like when you drink an alcohol, like what is the alcohol that made you throw up at one point? You know what I'm saying? Or something like that. I totally you like get smell it and you're like, oh, I don't ever want that. Or like food poisoning. You're like, that's how I feel about foods like that, because they make me sick or they just make me feel bad. Or I'm like, oh man, I just associate with a bad thing, you know? So
that's actually a good way to put it. That way you're not going back to those old habits. Those bad habits.
One thing though I do have like an itch for all the time is the boba teas with the little pearls.
Are those bad?
They're so high in sugar, girl. So high in sugar. Like, but I go to them and I'm like, hey, I do like a quart of the sugar, and then I just make sure it's like an almond milk or something, because they'll trick you. It'll be like an almond milk tea, but it's a milk with an almond flavor, and that's caught me up so many times. I'm like, that was
You're like, that's not almond milk. I've never felt that way before. Like, I'm on the toilet.
And I'm like, exactly. I'm like, this is what I get.
Trying to believe you guys. But no. So, like, what does your workout consist of? Because obviously we know that most times it starts in the kitchen. But how do you maintain your hot bod?
I do strength training and yoga right now. But I've dabbled in everything. I've done, like, powerlifting, bodybuilding. I've tried jiu-jitsu for like 8 weeks. I've just tried a lot of things, and I've tried CrossFit and taken what I thought was very beneficial and just kind of incorporated into what I wanted to do, because as much as like I like tried those things, they weren't exactly for me. Like powerlifting is okay, but it made me gain a lot of weight because I was just like doing, you know, I have the body type to put on muscle, and it's hard for me to lose fat. Like jiu-jitsu, I'm not trying to fight the world, you know, but I wanted to learn like some self-defense, like some different like agility, right? I wanted to be not just like useless muscle. I wanted to be able to like move, right? And it taught me like I needed more mobility. So with yoga, it's just like like that's kind of like where I sit, because it's like a moving meditation for me. When I'm doing it, it's like a flow state of mind. It's just very relaxing, and I'm getting a workout. But it wasn't intense enough for me because it's very light, so I added strength training to it, from like the powerlifting, from the bodybuilding, and incorporated into doing these different kind of things that you wouldn't do.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm doing right now. It's just like a mix of everything. Whenever I do trainings with people, it just depends on what aligns with their goals. I have all these different tools now, from working out all these different types of ways, that I can be like, all right, you want to do this, this is what you're going to have to do, and this is how you're going to have to eat.
Gotcha.
Why do I know this? Because I did this,
right.
and this is why I know, right?
I'm experiencing it myself.
Exactly. Trust me. You want to gain weight? I'll show you exactly how to gain weight. You want to lose weight? I'll show you exactly. Because a lot of those things are just so extreme, like CrossFit. Have you tried CrossFit?
No, I have not.
And there's so much room for injury. That is why I didn't do it, because I've had previous injuries with my arm, my leg, and I'm like, I don't really want to do that, but I do, like, it's a really good, like, high intense workout. And I do like if you have 30 minutes to work out, I'll do some kind of CrossFit type workout. But for the long term, those people there's so many injuries. Those people, the owner, the founder, he's actually like getting hit with lots of lawsuits because it started off like a Orange Theory, like one of those places, right?
Gotcha.
And it's just like a phase. Everything, fitness has lots of phases, you know?
Yeah.
So things like that, like bodybuilding, it's cool, but what can you do? You know, you can look the part, but can you really be the part? So that's why I like go and like do all these like crazy, like, I guess gymnastic-y type things, because it's like exciting. Like,
yeah.
Well, first of all, she's a mom. They're like, what? Why are you doing that?
Right.
Second of all, it's just like I guess being flexible is like something I've always admired. There's like strength, but then there's flexibility. And those are two things that like a lot of people can't do. It's hard to be strong. It's hard to be flexible. It's very hard to be flexible because it goes away way quicker than strength. And it gets harder as you get older.
Definitely does.
You can't, yeah, it gets super hard. And so even people, like, I'd be surprised you can't even sit crisscross.
That's so weird. That makes a lot of sense. Because like, some people can't touch their toes. And I'm like, wow.
I know, and I see that all the time.
Happens.
And if you do something a little bit every day, that's what it takes. I don't just start dropping into the splits day one. No, like I didn't even want to do that. It was just I just kept doing the same exercise, the same stretch, and I would go like an inch more, like, you know, a little bit more, and then I'd be like, wow, this feels good now. It's not painful.
Yeah.
So
that's cool.
Yeah, that's a little bit about what I've been doing lately. And people are like, I want to do that. That looks cool, because it is cool, and you feel cool the whole day. Cool's a very big word, but
it feels good.
Exactly. Feels nice, it brings you confidence, and you're just like, my body's doing incredible things right now.
I want to keep this up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did like this handstand challenge like a couple months ago, and I was I was so surprised about how many people were like trying to do it, like busting their ass. So the challenge was you go on a wall and you just alternate to one hand. And I got this from my brother. Carlos, shout out Carlos Athlete.
He's over there.
Yeah, he's in here. He's in the studio. He is, like, people think I'm fit. He is, he makes me look handicapped. He'll do, like, I did the handstand challenge. You know what he does? He puts, like, a weight vest on.
Of course he does.
And does a one hand. I'm like, I'm not going to
try that?
I'm not going to let you... This is a win for me, you know?
Yeah, this is good.
But
great. Yeah.
He's also been on the fitness thing too, and that's also helped. When you're around it, it really helps you. It's really who you're around, you know?
Yeah,
if I brought in Wendy's in the house, he'd probably talk down to me, just like when I see him, you know, we both work like late night jobs, and so when, you know, I see like a Mexican food burrito, I'm like, you know, what are you doing? So he's like, I gotta go work out now, because I know she's gonna say something.
Yeah. Exactly. Give me crap.
Yeah, I can't have zebra cakes in the house. I wouldn't, but like that is that extra thing. So my son and my brother, we all live together, so it's just like all eyes on you all the time. You know?
That's good, though. That's good to have that accountability partner. Like, no, you said this, then do this.
Yeah, if you were dropped into a house or, like, 5 people who, like, ate very clean and, like, another house that everyone's eating out, you know what's going to happen.
Right.
You're going to make better choices in this house, and you're going to make worse choices in this house.
Yeah, just because accessibility is right there, you know?
Fitness, everyone's like, oh, it's so hard. It's just, it's simple. It's not, that doesn't mean easy. I always say that. Simple does not mean easy. It's literally just stop doing what you're doing and just drink enough water, try to eat more vegetables, and just be active. Just a little.
I wanted to kind of talk to Alythia about some questions from my followers regarding fitness and health. And I got a question from It's Just Angel, and she wanted to know, so how do you feel about diets such as the keto diet? Are they sustainable or are they just fads?
So I think if you're trying to get like a quick summer bod, I think keto is okay. But when you eliminate carbs like that, as soon as you put a carb back in your mouth, you are going to gain weight. And I've experienced this. I went keto. I got so shredded. I was like, ooh, I love this. But for the long term, it wasn't for me.
Gotcha.
Because I do eat low carbs, but keto is very, like, to no carbs. Low carbs is a lot different. As soon as I started introducing carbs in my life, like simple carbs, like sweet potatoes, I was putting on weight very quick, and it was not good weight. It was literally fat.
Wow.
Exactly, yeah. So
not
I think that, like I said, incorporating some keto in my diet now, like I do eat higher fats than I did because I see how important they are, and they're good for your brain function, they're good for your skin, they're really good for us because our brain is made up of a lot of fats. But for the long term, I don't think it's sustainable. I think if you're trying to, from here to like summer, if you want to like drop some pounds, do keto, but you need to slowly introduce carbs back into your life. And when I say slowly, I'm saying like 10 grams, 20 grams, 30 grams, very slowly, because it will hit you so fast, it'll ruin the 6 weeks that you deprived your body.
Gotcha.
You know.
Gotcha. Okay. I got one from Musu, Moments with Musu. She said, what meal plans should a woman incorporate in her diet if she wants to remain thick, but also tone up as well?
So that is a great question. Did she say she was working out or not? Or anything?
Currently she's working out bit by bit, like nothing rigorous. But.
So the perfect thing for that is cardio and eating like high calorie. Depending on where you're at, we all have a certain amount of calories we burn every day. And I don't know what that is for her, but she needs to find that out. I eat anywhere from like 1,900 to 2,500, and that really helps me because I do like to stay a little bit fuller. I'm cut, but not very cut. I'm still pretty full. Yeah. And when you pair that with cardio, it works really well. So if she wants to eat like that, like high carbs and stuff, sweet potatoes, not so much the rice. It's really good, but there's not a lot of nutrients in that. Things I would recommend would be like buckwheat, quinoa, farro, you know, more like lentils too. Gotcha. They're really high in protein. Good whole foods, not like things that are like high on the glycemic index. That'll spike her sugar because it'll just be fat. If you want that nice, thick, like meat on your legs, on your body, those are things to aim for. Definitely stay away from sugar. Definitely stay away from sugar. So high cardio, high cardio, and those really good low glycemic carbs, okay, that are not going to spike your sugars. And I would say protein it up. I personally don't eat meat, but if she does, like, you know, chicken. You know, I don't really promote eating like steak and stuff, but that's just really good to keep that on there. If she's not, she's looking for alternative. Things I do are like fishes, if you don't even eat fish like that, nuts, peanut butter, like again, sweet potatoes, any kind of like legumes or beans.
Gotcha. You
can definitely put on avocados. Things that are very calorie dense are going to be key for that. Yeah.
I'm hungry. So how would someone get in contact with you if they're like, hey, I want you to be my trainer, I just need to start, like, how reach you?
No, definitely. If you go to slaybody.com, I have like a consultation kind of form you can fill out. and we can connect there. I'm also on Instagram. It's at Alythia at Alythia. I need to change that.
It's fine.
Yeah, it's like I like messed it up, and now if you change your handle, I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's that. I'm also on Facebook. It's under Alythia Carter. Long story.
Yeah. They're like, wait,
you know why people? Do you know why people? Do you know why I changed my name to Alythia Carter?
I have no idea.
Do you want to know why?
Yes.
Like, no one really asks me why I do anything. They're just like, she's doing it.
She says that's her thing.
You're about to laugh.
Never mind. Go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, I think you might know.
Yep.
So, Beyonce.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
I was having such a hard day. I was like so upset, and I think Partition came on, and you know how it goes, "Hey, Miss Carter," you know, and I was like, I'm
Alythia Carter. Wow. This whole time.
But then Facebook's like, do you want to do this? You have like 90 days or something. You can't change it back. And I was like, I'm committed. And then everyone's like, why are you doing that? And I didn't want to tell people that at first. I'm like, they're like, are you married? I was like, no.
You're like, that's not what it was.
I know. And then they're like, oh, you're not married. I'm like, no.
No, that's not. I'm sorry.
So that's why. And then it just stuck. And then I'm just like, I like it.
Yeah.
You know?
Of course. Well, you guys, that is how you get in contact with her. Thank you for coming.
Yeah, I know.
Oh, thank you. And sorry about the technical difficulties, but you know, it happens. Bye, you guys.